and see, like, for instance, you walk by a Justin Kabelka table, are you more likely to buy a snake right then and there, or are you more likely to contact Justin on social media or elsewhere?
Social media for sure, just because the idea of buying a snake at a show and then shipping it out, doing all that whole process of getting it from the show back to my house just stresses me out.
Right.
So I'd rather just go through, Discord, Morph Market, whatever it is, buy it there.
Right.
Sure. Like I've seen snakes at shows where I'm kind of like, okay, that one looks cool. I'll hit him up later about that snake. Actually, the sumo I bought from Justin was at the show. I'm pretty sure that was the snake that was at the show.
Nice. Oh, awesome. Now, since we already brought up Justin, I mean, how many snakes did you recently pick up from Justin?
I bought 3 in bulk on my last order, and then I actually got one of the first snakes I actually got when I decided to get serious on this.
Right.
Was from Justin. It's leopard, yellow belly, het pied, possible, or 66% het clown.
Okay.
So I'm hoping that proves that.
Now, let me ask you this. Was that your biggest investment so far in ball pythons, or like, you mean as far as like, projects that you're picking up on?
For sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how long did you kind of sit on that for? Like, I mean, was that a spur of the moment thing, or did you kind of like plan like, okay, I'm going to save up some bills and I'm about to drop some money on a project that I feel like is going to be great?
I thought on it for like 3 days, and then because I know how Justin's snakes go, man. Justin puts a snake up, and that shit it can be gone. I had hit Justin up about 3 other snakes,
right,
and they've been gone within 20 minutes, like 3 times. So when I saw these, I was like, okay, 3 days, they're up there in price a little bit. Maybe they won't sell as fast.
Right.
And then 3rd day, I hit him up like, hey, can I put a deposit down on this right now so that they don't go anywhere? He's like, yeah, sure. So put the deposit down, and then a month later, just paid him off.
Right.
But yeah, that was definitely my biggest investment for sure, was those 3 snakes.
Now, at what point do you feel like, because I mean, this is what I did, I was, with the ball pythons at least, I was adding a lot of ball pythons, but I got to a point where I was kind of content, and I was like, I'd rather make what I need now, and just hold my shit back. Where do you feel like you want to get when you hit that point, or do you feel like you just always want to continue to add stuff? Like, what's your goal with that?
So right now I'm at 16 females.
Nice.
I would like to get to maybe about 25 or 30,
okay,
preferably 25, because saving more money. About 25 before I go into the mode of more of my own product holdbacks and less of like monetary investment of picking up other people's stuff.
Right.
For sure.
Right.
But yeah, I would love to hit 20 by the end of the year, and then 25 by like the next breeding season.
Oh,
total.
Damn. Okay. Now, I mean, I know we talked about how you're blessed to have such a good job, working with the family business, right? But in your mind, I mean, is there a goal for you to someday retire quicker than usual and do the snakes full time? Or do you feel like your job's so good that you'll just always have that job and you'll do the snakes as well? Like, you always keep both?
So it's funny you're bringing up the retirement part. So my dad wants to retire within 5 to 10 years because he's just hit 60. So he's like, he wants to retire and enjoy life for a little before he, dies. Gets old and dies.
Right.
As morbid as that sounds.
Respect.
So his plan is 5 to 10 years, which in a way kind of coincides with what I'm doing, because I know most guys will say, 5 to 6 years before you start getting up there and making it a full-time thing.
Right.
So that's kind of the goal. Within 5 to 10 years, make the snake business my main priority.
Okay.
And then that'll transition from him being able to retire. Well, I'll be able to make this my full-time thing too.
Now, you watch the podcasts a lot, Matt, and obviously I talk about, I bring a lot of breeders on here who have successfully made their ball python a good business and whatnot, right? What kind of mental notes have you been taking, or what are some things that you're paying attention of some people who've been killing it that you're maybe like putting into your game plan, or at least just waiting to
for sure the holdback game.
The holdback.
I mean, I had no idea about that until I started watching, stuff with like Will and Justin and guys like that, where it's like you want to be when Will says you want to be your best investor,
right? That's
like the big thing. I'm saying, okay, so I want to produce stuff and I want to keep the best of the best and then sell whatever I don't need or want,
right?
And then the other thing too is with my snakes, the way I'm kind of doing it is I don't want to limit myself to just one market,
right? I
want to make nice high-end things, but I also want to make like Blue-Eyed Lucy sell.
Yeah.
Everyone loves those. You know, I want to make snakes for the smaller market where like I want a pet that looks cool. Okay, well here's like a $300 snake or $400 snake.
Right.
Not everyone wants to buy, you know, $1,000 snakes or $900 snakes.
Right.
And then, you know, you and I are the same. We both love dark genetics.
Right.
I love dark stuff. Not everybody loves dark genes. Some people like the brighter colors, which is why I went into that one project from Justin, was because I knew I need to market both sides.
Right.
I need to make dark morphs. I need to make light stuff. So
I feel like it's such a good point that you bring up, because I mean, diversity doesn't kill you in this game at all. Like, you know, especially if you're working with really good diverse stuff. I do the same stuff, but like with species of snakes, like, you know, ball pythons, you know, I work with, right?
Yeah.
But ball pythons is just like a percentage of my foundation, only because like I just want to be able to bring more to the table for people. Like, I love the fact that I could talk to almost anybody about ball pythons, but when I get into a deep conversation about chondros or emeralds or shit that's just not normally talked about, and I'm able to like enlighten somebody on it or kind of talk stuff on it, and this goes to like even dark morphs, like anything that you're working on in particular that somebody could gain some information on and come to you about, I feel like that's great. I think that's what it's all about. You know
it's
what
like
I mean?
Tyler just said, you got to have balance in the force. You know, I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I got freaking Star Wars tattoos on my arm. So,
dude, if you want to talk about, you know, like believing in your own craft and fucking investing in yourself, you know, talk about Josh Jensen and the acid gene.
Dude, oh my God. That video he just put out,
should we watch it?
Yeah, let's watch it. That shit was sick.
Right.
That acid leopard, like I was already pretty sold on acid. I was like, I like it, I dig it. And then he put that out and I was like, I need this.
So, okay, Matt doesn't mind giving Josh some limelight during his trap talk, because him and I are big both fans of Josh Jensen and his acid project. And he just dropped his video, which we want to share because it is fucking awesome. And we would just want to show you guys.
And he used Undertaker's music.
All right, so let's check this out. And there's no volume. That's what I'm talking about. That's sick. Oh my God. That's what I like. The city. Oh my God. That's it. That's the son of a bitch. That's the money shot. Give it to me. It's so good. How epic is that? Sorry, we just had to share that just because, like I said, that acid gene is just no joke. Especially if you are a fan of the dark contrast stuff, the dark coloration stuff, then you already know what we're ranting about.
Well, and he's putting it into like lavender albino too.
Right.
He's not just putting it into dark stuff.
Right.
So.
And then if you remember too, you know, we had Dale Richard on when we had Josh on. Josh was a secret guest, but Dale Richard fucking had that acid het clown that looked just completely like black, like silver and black. Like
the pastel one too.
The pastel one, yeah, right. You wouldn't think pastel would make something look black.
Usually people complain about pastel.
It's the opposite.
Usually they hate it.
Right. Crazy. So, okay, Matt, now getting back into like projects and whatnot, where do you see yourself working? Like, you know, I know you said that you do want to focus primarily on stuff that like sells, I guess, right? Like Red Lucy's and stuff. Yeah. But is there any projects out there other than what you've already invested in that you're considering adding down the road, or something you're already eyeballing now? Like what's maybe a project out there that you don't have yet, but you were like, that's something you wouldn't mind adding at some point?
Ironically, it's acid.
Okay.
I don't have acid yet, so it's definitely acid. But right now, I'm not looking to get into any more recessives because I've got Exantic, Clown, Pied, and Lavender Albino. So I'm kind of like, I don't want to stretch myself too thin. Like,
right.
I want to start off with a solid base, work that, and then when I grow, I can start adding in more stuff like maybe G-stripe or something like that.
Right. Okay. Nice. Now, as far as like, you know, you haven't had your first clutch yet, right?
No.
Okay. So what's your preparation for that? I mean, obviously one thing I know I used to do is like, I mean, you can't watch too many YouTube videos when you're about to have your first clutch and because you're just so excited. But what have you been doing? Thank you for watching this week's Trap Talk with MJ podcast clip. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. That way you're on top of every single Trap Talk clip that's released here every week. And that way you're on top of every single podcast that comes out every Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday here on the Trap Talk with MJ YouTube channel, where we bring all the hottest up-and-coming reptile keepers and all the most experienced, hottest reptile keepers in the reptile game. We will see you here next week with another Trap Talk clip, and we're out. Cheers!